This happened to be the very day that he gassed the Kurds and turned the gas loose on the northern provinces of his country. Air France radioed the pilots and said, "Where are you?" They were over the Atlantic. And the company was afraid that they would commandeer the aircraft if they flew them into Baghdad airspace. So the owners of the aircraft radioed the pilots and said, "Turn those planes around and fly them back to the U.S." So they'd not reached their point of no return, and they turned around and flew back into the United States. And guess where they landed? Kennedy International Airport, with 400 head of lactating mama cows. Now you think you've seen a baggage claim problem. We offloaded them into a hangar, cordoned them off in there, and kept them in there for 2 weeks till I could resell them and get them shipped to Mexico. But I'm going to tell you what now, ladies and gentlemen, I've had some real personnel challenges in my lifetime. But if you've never tried to recruit enough New Yorkers in Manhattan who know what a milking stool is and a milk bucket, you ain't lived. So agriculture is not always boring, it can be challenging. I thank you for your time. DarwinCarter.com. I need your support. I need your help. We're going to straighten this mess out. This economy is rooted in agriculture. We're going to get people back to work. We're going to do a great deal to get rid of unemployment. If you have an issue with the Department of Agriculture when I'm commissioner, you're not going to be calling the Commissioner of Agriculture. I want you to call Darwin. And I promise you this, a real live human being will answer that telephone. 1,300 employees in the Georgia Department of Agriculture. I think I can find somebody to answer the phone.
That's right.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed being with you.
Yeah, so you said we open up for a couple of questions if anybody has any.
I just wanted to ask, when you were with Reagan, why did they not stop the thing of paying the farmers not to farm?
For about until 86, from 80 until 86, we had a Democrat Congress. So they were in control. I mean, Reagan vetoed several bills, but we had a Democrat Congress up to 86. And from that point on, then we were able to curtail some of that activity. But he had to deal with that Democrat-controlled Congress. A lot of people don't realize that. They think once you get a president who's a Republican, it's all over. But you're going to find out, what it's like to deal with those Democrats. Yes, ma'am.
I saw in the paper just in the last few days, that it's been proposed that Macon be a seaport because of the overflow of containers in Savannah.
Right.
And what do you know about that, or is it feasible?
The quick answer is I don't know whether it's feasible or not. I will answer you this way. What we would need to do is study the navigation, how navigable is the river, how much dredging would be needed to do, how much widening, how much infrastructure would we have to put in. I would think this, that anytime you can turn some portion of your geography into a transportation hub, if the city fathers and it wouldn't so deem it, it would be wonderful.
I thought that they would probably bring the containers in by truck rather than up the river.
Well, that's the whole point. If they do bring them in by truck, then but if you turn them into a seaport, if it's navigable up and down the river, then that's another issue. One thing about trucking, I will say this: this whole transportation thing has got to be studied. I mean, we have created this incredible megalopolis of vehicles around Atlanta, Georgia, and 285. I hope the next governor and the legislature will take a hard, comprehensive look at how we need to route some route some traffic away from that area. And I think that what you're talking about as far as the trucks and the containers is really part of it. Yes.
Well, who are you supporting for governor?
Let's see. I like Oxendine, Deal, McBurry. Let me answer you this way. Some of my friends like one of them, some of my friends like the other, and I'm for all my friends.
Right. The thing is, like you said, you need people to work together.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you had a particular one that you thought you could work better with. You know what I mean? That seems.
Yeah, I see your point, and I do have ideas about that, but to endorse someone would just make the rest of my friends really upset. Yes.
I like Karen Hannes.
Karen's a very good lady. She's got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. So have these other guys too. And it's going to be a real fight before it's over with. I say fight. It's going to be a very spirited debate.
Yeah, well, who ain't running for governor?
when you have to wait, and you're on the bottom of the ticket to speak behind all these people and then all the insurance commissioner people, you know, you're usually the last one up. You know. Yes, sir.
How do you stand on ethanol and the taking away of food products to make something and then subsidize it and then make a shortage of food for people to eat? How do you stand on that, and what part does the agriculture department play in that?
Okay. Ethanol works. If you take corn and make ethanol, it works in a 150-mile radius. Well, they only don't work. It'll work in a 150-mile radius. But what happens there when you take grain to make ethanol? What you do then, you raise the price of everything that eats grain: poultry, hogs, cattle, eggs, dairy. Everything goes up in price, and in almost direct proportion. Plus the fact that then you're looking at something in many instances where the ethanol is subsidized, are going to have to be subsidized to really make it work. All right, where do we reach the point there with the increase of food and the increase of what it costs to produce the ethanol? Why not just buy that $2.50 oil?
Why don't produce your
Right, we
own oil?
don't need it.
Why don't you drill here and drill now?
Exactly. And it's here.
Makes cornflakes go up too.
Absolutely.
Popcorn.
It makes no sense to me if you're making one sector work and hurting the other sectors. It makes no sense to me at all.
That was a government payoff for the Midwestern farmers.
That's all that is. And it needs to be done away with. It's a failure. It's a total flop.
I agree with you.
Like you said, we need to sell that food in foreign countries.
I didn't answer the second part of his question. The second part of your question: how do we get involved?
No, what part do you play in that?
What part would I play in it? The part that I would play in it would be, should it become a reality? Well, first of all, we regulate every gas pump in Georgia, meaning the Commissioner of Agriculture. Every gallon you put in your vehicle is regulated by the Commissioner of Agriculture.
Right.
And if you've been to a gas station with a 5-gallon bucket and you got this much one time and this much one time, you know what I'm talking about. So we would regulate the content, and as far as whether or not it would happen, the Department of Agriculture and the Commissioner can have a lot of input into the legislative process and say, no, we don't think this should be like this.
I got another question since you talked about regulation. Let me ask you real quick. If somebody sent me an email about all this foreign seafood and stuff coming in,
Yes.
does the agriculture department inspect that stuff? Are you responsible for seeing that it's healthy?
Most of it. Some of it we are. Most of it is done federally inspected. However, there are labeling requirements that the Department of Agriculture in Georgia is responsible for. We're responsible for all processed food in the state: poultry, hogs, cattle. All of that falls under the Commissioner of Agriculture. And we do get involved in the labeling, and that's something that's absolutely off the shelf right now, because nothing is supposed to be sold that doesn't have the country of origin on it, and so much of it doesn't.